Welcome to DesignerDigitals Bi-Weekly Tip, February 24th, 2017. This week, how to draw attention to a focal point with iris blur in Photoshop. Sometimes the subject of a photo needs help standing out from the surroundings. One way to enhance a photo is to keep the focal point sharp while blurring the background. It's like faking depth of field. Your eye is naturally drawn to the sharper portion of an image, while the softer parts get less attention. Here's how Photoshop makes this easy. Start by opening a photo you want to enhance in the full version of Photoshop. Make a copy of the photo by pressing Ctrl-J on the keyboard. On a Mac system, that's Command-J. Now you'll have a copy on top of the original, which you can see in the Layers panel. The top layer should be selected. From the menu bar, choose Filter, Blur Gallery, Iris Blur. Make sure you choose Blur Gallery and not just Blur. In the Iris Blur tool, an oval target shape appears on the photo. Click and drag the center to position it directly over the part that you want to remain sharp. You'll notice that the cursor changes to a thumbtack as you do this. The portion of the photo inside this ring will be the sharpest part of the final image, and anything that lies outside of the ring will be blurred. The ring helps you define where the blur begins. So for the sample, I want the sharpest focus to be on the chipmunk's little face, since that's where I want to draw the viewer's eye. Now, once you get this in place, you can tweak the blur ring. Position your cursor over the center dot. Outside of the center point, there are 4 dots that appear. Click and drag one of the dots to increase or decrease the size of the focus transition. The closer you drag to the center, the softer the transition will be. The closer you drag to the outer circle, the sharper the transition will be. I want a smooth transition, so I'll drag inward. Next, position your cursor over the outer ring. There are 4 dots there as well. When you hover over one of the dots, you'll get this curved arrow. Click and drag the dot to twist, turn, and reshape the ring. If you position your cursor over the outer ring, but not on a dot, you'll get a straight double point arrow. Use this to resize the outer circle. Finally, use the blur slider in the Blur Tools box. It's on the right side of the screen. You can drag to the right to increase the amount of blur, or to the left to decrease the amount of blur. You'll be able to see the preview as you drag, so you can make decisions about how much is enough and how much is too much. When you're satisfied with the results, press Enter on the keyboard or click OK up in the options bar at the top of the screen. The blur filter will be applied to the image on top. Because your original is underneath the blurred image, you have the option to reduce the opacity of the blurred layer to bring back more of the details if you decide that you went too far with your blur. Just select the top layer and drag the opacity slider at the top of the Layers panel. It also allows you to see before and after views. Just click the layer visibility icon of the top layer. It looks like an eyeball on the left side of the layer to see the before image, or the original. Click again to see the after, the blurred image, and then make decisions about the opacity. Using this filter, you can bring attention to the part of the image that you want the viewer to focus on. It's an easy way to draw attention to an object that needs to stand out a little bit from the background. This is a particularly great technique to use on shots of butterflies or bees or other animals in nature, or people in a busy setting. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure to check back in 2 weeks for the next DesignerDigitals tip.